Today, we're going to determine if there is a significant difference in enrollment between Region 1 and Region 5 in the statewide school district data. First, we have to do an assumption check, like a pretest, before performing the independent samples t-test. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Analyze, then Descriptive Statistics, and then Explore. We need to move enrollment to our dependent list, and then we're going to move region to our factor list. Now we need to click on plots and make sure that we hit none on the box plots, uncheck stem and leaf, and click the histogram. We also need to check the normality plots with test. That's going to give us some vital information. Click continue and then hit OK. All right, as you can see here, we're doing our little pretest. So we're looking at Region 1 and Region 5. So looking at Region 1, first we're going to look at the N quota, and Region 1 has a 72, which is higher than the threshold of 30 of what it's supposed to be, so that one passes. However, when looking at Region 5, they have an N quota of 23, which is less than 30, so that sample size is pretty small. However, we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue. Next, we're going to look at the test of normality. And we're going to look at the Shapiro-Wilks test. And for Region 1, you can see that the significance is less than 0.001, which is far less than 0.05. And also looking at Region 5, theirs is 0.088, which is also less than 0.05. So what I can assume from here is that our histograms will probably more than likely be skewed. So we're going to look at the Region 1 histogram here. I'm going to make this a little bigger. And yes, the histogram for Region 1 is definitely skewed off to the right and doesn't have that bell-shaped curve. And we're going to look at Region 5, and they do not have that bell shape either. Theirs is a little bit uneven and not that perfect bell shape as well. But we're still, for this assignment, we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue. And we can also look at the variance of homogeneity. So I'm going to exit out of this window. And now we're going to go to Analyze, Compare Means and Proportions. And then we're going to click on the one-way ANOVA. So when we do that, we can pull over enrollment to the dependent list and then region to the factor list. And we need to click on options. And I want to look at the homogeneity of variance test. So I'm going to click that one and hit continue, hit OK. And there is my test of homogeneity of variances. We can see here that based on the mean, the significance is less than 0.001. So from there, we cannot assume homogeneity has been met. We can also look at the ANOVA here, that significance is the same. It's less than 0.001. So again, we cannot assume homogeneity has been met. Now, for the sake of this assignment, we're going to go ahead and assume that all assumptions are met and proceed with the t-test. So I'm going to exit out of this window. And we're going to go up here to Analyze, Compare Means, and Independent Samples t-test. We're going to pull over enrollment for the test variable, pull over region for the grouping variable, and there's question marks there because we want to compare regions 1 and regions 5. So we need to click define groups. We have our group 1 is region 1, and our group 2 we want to be region 5. So then we're going to hit continue. I'm going to go ahead and click the homogeneity of variance test to have that in there as well. Definitely have the effect sizes, and we're going to click OK. And now from here, this tells us a lot of information. So we can see our group statistics again. We have our N values of 72 and 23, making sure that I have region 1 and region 5, which I do. So this tells us our mean, our standard deviation, and our standard error mean here as well. Now, what we're really going to look at is this independent t-test, but as you can see, there are two labels here, and we have to know which one to use. We don't know if we're going to use the equal variances assumed or equal variances not assumed. Well, when we look at the Levene's test for equality of variances, we look at that significance. And that significance is 0.011, which is less than 0.05. So we're going to have the equal variances not assumed column here. Now, in APA style, I report that this as our t value of 2.828. And then our degrees of freedom is 77.267. And looking at our two-sided p-value, it's 0.006. So because our p-value is less than 0.05, then we reject the null hypothesis, meaning that there is a significant difference between the enrollment for region 1 and region 5. However, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the Cohen's D value here, and that value of the point estimate is 0.389, which in APA style is 0.39, and that tells us that the effect size would be a small effect, meaning that the difference is not practically important. It is considered trivial. So with all of that information, I have performed the independent samples t-tests between region 1 and region 5. While there is a significant difference, that effect size is actually very small.